Welcome to the Halton Bridges Research on Kurzweil presentation. We're just going to share a little bit of this journey with you, and I want to give you just an overview of what we're going to be going through today. First of all, one of the things that we found in this is the whole process of doing research has been invaluable because it forces all of us to reflect on what we're doing. So that's one really important thing. Marion is going to be giving an introduction to how this whole research project got started. Then I will give you just a very brief overview of the research findings to date. And then the next thing that's going to happen is Stacy Faulkner and her class of tech dudes are going to be doing their demonstration of both their own learning, and Stacy's going to share some data and statistics on what has happened in their class. And we think that's the most important part of the sharing, and so that's what we're going to spend most of the time on. But first of all, Marion is going to introduce how the project got started.
Hi, I'm Marion Thorpe, and I'm Coordinator of Special Education with the Halton District School Board. And one of my responsibilities is the provision of assistive technology within our school board. About 5 years ago, or maybe 6 now, I would think, we started to work with Bridges Canada as our major training partner. They provide for us a lot of work with students and families and teachers on learning how to use assistive technology effectively. And a couple of years into that training partnership, I was invited to come to a week-long project in the summer where we were looking at ways to improve the PD that Bridges offered. And one of the things that came out of that was working with Anne on looking at does the way that Bridges trains our students and our staff and our families, is it effective? Is there ways we could improve it? And so we agreed to become partners in a research project that was looking at that. So we were trying to answer 2 questions really. One is around the model of professional development. Does it help improve the student's ability to use it? And the second one was around, does the use of Kurzweil actually improve reading and reading comprehension? So those were our questions. So we embarked on this rather overambitious, perhaps, research project because we, as a board, have a mandate to improve our professional development in all areas. So this fit beautifully with what we were already doing. We're extensively invested in assistive technology. We have over 1,500 funded laptops in the system, plus a lot of other assistive technology in the system. We really want to know that we're doing our best to make it effective for students, staff and families. So we started on this research project where we were looking at trying to do it across the entire board. And after a year of doing that, we realized that trying to get that sort of feedback was running into difficulties because there's so many competing demands on teachers around curriculum, around other focuses within the board on improving provincial scores, and a lot of record keeping. So we narrowed the project down a little bit. But overall, what we've learned is that there's a really good buy-in to assistive technology within our board, that teachers and families see it as a way to improve students' literacy, to improve their ability to understand the curriculum. And the other really neat thing was that in doing this research project, we discovered these little centers of excellence within the Halton District School Board, classrooms and schools where teachers and students were doing just absolutely amazing things. And one of those centers of excellence is Stacy Faulkner's Learning Disabilities Focus class at Emily Carr Public School in Oakville. And so we're really going to spend most of our time today letting Stacy and her students tell you about the difference assistive technology has made in their lives, as opposed to myself and Anne telling you about the dry data.
First of all, because we had fairly small response rates, that was one of the things we reflected upon a great deal. We are able to only do descriptive analyses of the data, but it was really very helpful to do that because it's been very much a collaborative effort between researchers, and there's researchers from the University of Toronto, as well as myself at Fanshawe College, the school board, Bridges and their trainers, and also the administration of Bridges. Dr. Karen Erickson has problem solved with us, and she runs the Center for Literacy and Disability Studies in the United States. And then Stacy has collaborated with us and other teachers, so we've problem solved as we've gone along, which I think has been one of the most powerful parts of this, which is what we meant by the process of being important. But one of the major measures we were looking at is a comfort and use survey. And we looked at just how people are feeling about using technology over time. So we're looking at technology and its use over time. And the mean scores actually do mostly show improvement over time. So in terms of just looking at the feelings about using technology, pre-training, people were, 1, 3, 2.5 out of 6. But then at mid-training, after a while, they felt a little bit better. And then interestingly enough, it goes down just a tiny bit in post-training. And we've been reflecting on that and hypothesizing that it's probably that once you start getting some training, you realize what you don't know. And so you start to learn, and then you start realizing, hey, there's some more things I don't know. We found that even in the interview process. When we did the comfort and use survey, it was done online. And then for the mid part of it, we did an interview over the telephone with people, and people were saying, now I really know more about this technology, and I learned a whole lot from the trainers, and it's wonderful, and I wish I could have all this extra training, but I know what So another thing that we looked at was how people are currently feeling about using software applications. And again, the pre-training is shown in blue. So in terms of Kurzweil and Dragon, which were the two pieces of software that we were actually, Bridges was actually working with Halton to train them on, they did better at midterm and they did better in post-training. So they felt much better at those particular applications. But it's really interesting. The middle bar at mid-training, all these other pieces of software, they got mentioned and they could see how they fit in, but they didn't actually learn enough about them to feel great about it post-training. So it's kind of interesting. Again, more pieces of software that people are now aware of. Okay, so overall feeling about specific knowledge of specific resources. This one goes exactly the way we want it to. So people are building over time and feeling much better about just different resources that are available to support their own learning. Most of the people that responded to our survey were parents. There were a few teachers, but not as many as parents. The overall ability to make decisions. This one's very interesting. People felt pretty good about making decisions before, but then at mid, they felt like they weren't as comfortable because they realized what they didn't know is what we're hypothesizing. And then by post-training, they felt a little bit better about it. But in our reflections and our discussions about this, where we're concerned is this gap. Yeah, people are, getting a little bit better and they're feeling better, but there's still a whole long way to go here in terms of absolutely being comfortable and feeling good about making decisions and about knowing about the technology. Learning takes a lot of time. So I think that's exactly what we're finding in here. In terms of overall board-wide support, pre-training, people weren't that aware of what was available. Mid-training, there was a fair bit of support. And then post-training, they realized, hey, we just need so much more help. It's going to take us a long time to learn all of this. Do you want to add anything to that slide, Marianne? Because
no, I think your interpretation of it is completely accurate.
it's pretty much what we found out from the anecdotal information, and that's what people were saying. So people were very, gave us lots of stories about how everything was so positive and they loved all of the training and the support they were getting. They just needed more.
That's right.
Can't learn to do it overnight. As I just finished saying, the self-report data supported exactly what we were talking about. Supports the challenges. People wanted more PD. People wished they had more time. They wanted more tech support. They wanted to have everything set up immediately. People just wanted more of everything if possible. But there were just so many positive comments about the PD that they received. So they were very, very complimentary. And one of the things that I thought was fascinating is just to watch the serendipitous learning that happened all the time. I remember one time one of the trainers, Sandy, was at an evening session with Stacy, and they were just talking about technology ideas in general. Something about using movies or something. And Stacy started using it in class. And it had nothing to do with the actual Kurzweil training that was going on. But I think there's a lot of serendipitous sharing and learning that goes on all the time in this whole kind of project. So many suggestions were implemented as part of the survey. We found out that people wanted evening training, so we supplied that. We just provided memory sticks with all sorts of how-to posters, these great posters that explain all the basics of scanning and using Dragon, various things like that. So they're available for people, and I think people found them really helpful, but again, we need more time to learn how to do it. And the final thing that we tried to do is we tried to have an online collaborative learning environment where people could actually work together and try to problem solve and learn. So we posted all sorts of training videos on there, and also all of these training posters that Bridges had created. And people have already started with a little bit of support to get on there and try to help problem solve with one another. So parents are interacting and sharing their experiences and trying to learn from it. So we're hopeful that this kind of online collaborative learning can support the training over time. There was a lot of self-evaluation tools too. One of the things that we decided to use is within Kurzweil, there's something called a usage log, and if you look over here, you can see it tracks exactly what somebody does every day, every minute. So it tells you how long, not only how long you've used it, but what you've used it for. So it allows the trainers and the teachers to figure out what it is that the students need to learn. And it gives the students feedback on what they're doing. So that's wonderful. Another thing that happened is we decided to help develop some self-evaluation rubrics. And Stacy and her class actually created some specific rubrics that they could use to evaluate their own behavior, which was kind of cool. And the final kind of assessment that we did was the maze assessment. One of the things that Marion mentioned is this, all this use of training and use of Kurzweil actually affecting the students' ability to improve their reading comprehension. And working with Dr. Erickson, she had suggested that if we used a maze passage, these were already graded and had been used for years in terms of research. So if we use these passages and assess the students within Kurzweil, could we see change over time? This is just an example of a maze passage. And what we found so far is basically that there has been improvement over time. Another time when we have a lot more time, we'll share some of the challenges around using maze passages, but it has been one measure. But I think what we need to do right now is have Kurzweil in the classroom with Stacy and her tech dudes, and they will share the reality of all of this training and what really works.
Hi, we're the Tech Dudes, and thank you very much for allowing us to collaborate with you on this project. From our point of view, we just wanted to share a little bit with you about what life is like in our self-contained classroom at Emily Carr and how our life has changed with the involvement of Kurzweil.
Hi, my name is Nicholas. I have been to 4 different schools. This is my 3rd year in self-contained. I received my laptop last year. I mostly used it for research, but now I use my laptop every day.
Hi, my name is Connor. I've been in self-contained for 2 years. This is my 5th school that I've been to, and I got my laptop this February.
Hi, my name is Zachary. I've been to 3 different schools. This is my 3rd year in self-contained. I received my laptop last year. I only used it for research, but now I use it for all my subjects pretty much.
Hi, my name is Tyler. I've been to 4 different schools. This is my 3rd year in self-contained. I got my laptop last year, and I hardly used it, but now I use it for everything.
And I'm Stacy Faulkner. I'm the teacher for the Tech Dudes. I have absolutely no computer background whatsoever. Last year was my 1st year using Kurzweil, and this year we use it all the time for almost everything. So the first thing we did this year was we put together a little video clip to show you what we think it's like to have a learning disability.
Hi, I'm Zach and I have a learning disability. This video will help you know what it is and what it's not. A learning disability means that I learn differently than others people. I have good ideas, but sometimes it's hard to get them out. Let me